As a child, I didn't always bring out the best in my parents. In fact, from the 4th grade on, through high school and beyond, I managed to stay in trouble pretty much most of the time. And my ability in long-term relationship with trouble and mischief was due to 3 personal attributes, flaws, if you will. 1, I had a problem with authority. 2, I had this overwhelming curiosity. And 3, I had an almost lethal case of adolescent stupidity. And it evidenced itself by this almost absolute inability to be able to discern or connect acts with consequences. It just didn't go together. I would do something and something would happen, and I would always be surprised. And didn't even really know what happened. The consequence was there and I had to deal with it. So when I was about 13 years old, I used to sleep out in the backyard with my friends. We'd have a camp out in the backyard. And there were 4 of us, well, 4 others that one evening. My cousin Clemente, and Tommy Frascino, and Frankie Cicerone, and Butchie Monaco, and myself would sleep out in the backyard. We had a tent, and it was a great time. We would play cards and eat potato chips and soda and listen to transistor radio and have a wonderful time till it got dark. And then we would go exploring. And that's how we found that the Center Drive-In, you guys remember what drive-ins are, right? Okay. The Center Drive-In didn't have a fence all the way around it. And if you went behind the bowling alley, you could walk across the railroad tracks and sit down and watch a movie for free, which is what we did. Our campouts always started out with a free movie. And then after that, we would go exploring. And one night we ended up at the Downey Furniture Shop. Sounds exciting, doesn't it? It was a 3-story building in a residential neighborhood. So all the residences were 1 story. This is a 3-story building. It was the highest building around. And we went there to get some cardboard boxes because furniture stores get really big cardboard boxes. And it's a whole other story what we would do with those cardboard boxes. That night there weren't any cardboard boxes. But we got back to the Downey Furniture Store and we noticed the fire escape. And we noticed the fire escape went all the way up to the top of the Downey Furniture Store. And we noticed that you could get onto the roof if you climbed up the fire escape. And we also noticed some garbage cans that if we moved under the fire escape would allow us to reach the fire escape and climb up. Now, it's difficult for me to explain the allure of a fire escape on an unoccupied building that goes up 3 stories and will allow you to get on the roof. The allure that has for 12 and 13-year-old boys. It called to us, it beckoned us. And it was a siren song for these 4 12 and 13-year-old boys on an odyssey of their own. And because we were not lashed to the mast, we moved the garbage can, got on the fire escape, and climbed to the top of the building. We're on the roof. It's a flat roof. And the roof rises up about 3 or 4 feet above the facade of the building, rises up about 3 or 4 feet above the roof line. It's like ramparts on a castle. And it was a flat roof, and the roof was tarred. And on the tar were pebbles, rocks. And if you scuffed the roof, you could get a handful of pebbles. So let me recap. It's somewhere south of 2 a.m. 5 teenage boys are on the roof of a 3-story building, can't be seen by anybody else, with fistfuls of rocks. And here comes the car. A police car. Now, this is the truth. There was no thought, there was no communication involved, but there was unity of action. 5 arms went back, 5 arms came forward, and 5 fistfuls of rock hurtled into the dark night toward this poor innocent police car. And at that moment, 5 12-year-old brains had the same thought. We did not think this through. Those rocks are going to hit a police car. And our only way out is a fire escape. Do we leave? If we leave the building now, we might get caught. If we stay here, he might find us. We hit the deck. Our hearts are beating loudly. We're sure the cop can hear us. The cop hits the brakes. We can hear his door open. And he's walking around his car. And we don't dare peek over the facade to see what's going on. And we're just scared, and we're trying to figure out whether should we run, should we stay. We decided to stay. It seemed like hours and hours, but it couldn't have been more than a few minutes. And we heard the door slam and the car pull away, and we peeked over the facade. We could see the police car driving off. And we ran down the fire escape, put the garbage cans back, went back to our tent, and enjoyed talking about, by our lights, a very successful evening campout. So, my mother doesn't know about this, so please don't tell my mother. Don't tell that cop. Jim, you're going to put this on the internet, aren't you? I'm still not thinking things through.